You are from the Cape Flats.
Yes.
And now you are in Parliament.
Yes.
Do you want to maybe just share with us on the journey of a Cape Flats boy now representing the entire nation?
Yes, like I was born in Bellville South, and I'm a real Cape Flats boy, come from the northern suburbs, and went to after Bellville Primary, I went to Bellville High, and then studied at Pentec back in the day. Was very much part of the SRC and riots back in the day. I was born in 74, went to school in the 80s and early 90s when things were hectic in apartheid. We were throwing sticks and stones at people with guns and Caspers. And we lived through that experience, and I also got to vote in the first election as I turned 18 at that time. So, in 1994, we were that generation that fought for our liberation and then saw it. And then I went into bodyguarding, which is a whole other story. That's how I basically put myself through school and paid for my bills. But then, I learned a long time ago, I didn't have money to study further. And I come from a poor background, so, the way I went forward was through volunteer. And through my volunteering, I learned skills, I got opportunities. When I needed to learn more about church stuff, I volunteered in the church. When I wanted to learn more about computer stuff, I volunteered at people who could teach me that. And so I built up my skills and started doing short courses. And then over the years, I got involved with setting up the African Christian Democratic Party in the first place. Started that in South Africa with Kenneth Meshwe in 1992, 93. And that was after a God and Governance seminar at His People Church and at the Lighthouse Christian Center back in the day. And then the journey took me on a massive journey. After 94, I was part of the first National Youth Council, National Youth Commission. And then in 96 became part of the youth that actually helped to draft the Constitution in the Constitutional Assembly. And in that process, I discovered that we were being left behind as colored people, and went into business, went into different spheres of government. I served as the director of community projects for the city of Cape Town. I was director of mayoral special projects for the first multi-party government in the city of Cape Town. Dealt with AIDS orphans, dealt with the tick epidemic, and I went and I studied all the different models to deal with methamphetamine addiction around the world. And we went to Los Angeles and brought back the Matrix model. So the Matrix model, which is now implemented in the city of Cape Town, was my baby and something that I had worked on, and it was adopted by the DA and other parties. And there's 28 clinics now dealing with outpatient methamphetamine and other addictions in the city of Cape Town because of the work that I did there. After that, I went and I served in the National Council of Provinces and worked on foreign affairs and all those kind of foreign affairs, agriculture, finance. And in that process, I started getting to understand more about the Khoi and San issues and started looking at my own identity. I was adopted at birth, so I didn't know my heritage. And in that journey of finding out who's my parents, what the heritage was, I started finding out more about the Khoi and San. And in the year 2000, I worked with the Transformations Group, which was Graham Power and that big press things they had, and we started the Khoi and San Heritage Foundation. And that's where we did a lot of work on the Khoi and San. And in 2008, there was a function at the Slave Lodge where Helen Ziller represented the government and I represented the Khoi and San people. And we did at the Slave Lodge a prayer and reconciliation and forgiveness kind of thing. The only problem was it was lip service, and at the end of the day, it didn't translate into real change for our people. So I became a pastor at Hillsong Church. Started ministering, started thinking, okay, the answer is let's get people saved, let's get people into the church. That's how we're going to transform our country. We need a revival. And then I found out that actually, yes, we can help people at a surface level, but you're not dealing with the root of the problem. All we're dealing as a church with is just the fruits of the systemic problems that we have: gangsterism, hunger, unemployment, a lack of education. I started reading programs, after school reading programs, sports programs, all these different things. But none of it was able to make a significant difference because our people don't have access to land. Our people don't have access to procurement opportunities. And then I saw that at Codesa we were left out of the discussion. We were left, the discussion for the future of South Africa was decided by our former colonists and their beneficiaries of apartheid, as well as African indigenous tribes. They sat together.
The neo-colonials.
Yes. And they formed a new elite in the country. And the ANC then decided, instead of continuing with the revolution of making sure the economic transformation happens, they just stuck on the political side and benefited through the businesses. Our people, on the other hand, for 30 years was excluded as colored and Khoisan people.